Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just a article that I came across here looks kind of interesting. I did a couple of these last week in regards to MJ and legalization and states legalizing it and so on. So it's kind of interesting and got some good information in it. So let's see what kind of comments we get on this. So what MJ investors can expect in 2022 if federal legalization happens, and this is in the MJ Insider here on Benzinga. What we can expect from legalization in 2022, and on my last couple MJ videos, I've feel 2022 could be a turnaround for the MJ sector as a whole. I feel they've all hit bottom pretty much, and some are staying at the bottom. But brought together three renowned MJ advocates to talk about the prospects of federal legalization in 2022, state-by-state legislation, and what to expect from federal policy reform, and what financial trends this long-awaited process might unleash. So there's some top law firms working in the MJ industry, and there are the following that have joined, and they began various MJ bills in Congress and impact in the MJ industry. So called the regulatory landscape confusing and said he would be satisfied with the SAFE Act passing this year. There are such a plethora of acronyms out there, and it's hard to keep track. A new one seems to arrive every quarter, but there are a few key ones that have been focused, and I think the SAFE Act has been one since, I don't know, Clinton was president, so that was a while back. So he highlighted there seems to be a momentum to tackle banking reform. The SAFE Act will allow MJ companies access to federal banking services, which could be huge to a lot of the stocks. So the States Reform Act would legalize MJ at the federal level, or at least decriminalize it, and would not have implications, or that it would have implications for banking and interstate commerce and MJ. He said the big question is whether to wait for the big enchilada or try and take the milestone victory and go for the SAFE Act. Likewise, Cobb said he would be satisfied with the SAFE Act, noting and winning begets winning. And in today's world, instant gratification and social media, things do not happen instantly. Everyone is very Veruca Salt and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that's not how DC works. DC is about inch by inch. Empowering social equity and access to capital is vital, Cobb said. From a political standpoint, he said kudos to Nancy Mace, Republican, for filing the States Reform Act and receiving the support of some real companies in American industry, including the Koch brothers and Amazon. I just did a video about Amazon, and they're all for it. So he emphasized the importance of achieving bipartisan support. So very interesting information. In terms of expungements, Cobb referred to the HOPE Act and recalled that over 90% of the convictions that people have on their records are at the state level, and therefore action is needed because you can't force a state under the principles of federalism to do that. Raising the bar. If we are talking about social equity, it is going to be much more difficult for small businesses to access the standards of federal legalization, Cobb said, adding that it is going to be much harder for those applicants to enter the space when they get the FDA license to be able to conduct business and opposed to a very large federal excise tax. States Reform Act is the most passable piece of MJ legislation, and I've seen thus far solely Because of the Republican caucus are on the libertarian standpoint, largely okay with states' rights. Amazon and Charles Koch in support of the State Reform Act, and what does it mean? On January 25th, Amazon.com announced its support for the Republican-backed congressional bill that would legalize MJ at the federal level and allow states to decide how and whether to ban and regulate it. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, Republican State Reform Act, released in November, was the first bill issued by the Republicans, and it created quite a stir at the time. Cobb noted that having one of the most powerful and largest companies in the world jumping into the MJ fray to support legalization is a great barometer from an overall standpoint of where we are in the industry in regards to the States Reform Act as very attractive because it vests most of the authority with the state level folks. So I think it's a big deal that Koch came out in support, and he's such a powerful backer of Republican candidates across the country. He mentioned that the close ties between Koch and Republican members of Congress and his support of MJ legalization as a milestone. I find the Koch endorsement of MJ legalization to be even more exciting than Amazon's. I think it's a bigger milestone. Blumos CEO pointed that the fact that in an election year the Republicans did a good job incorporating MJ regulations, which have normally been in the Democrats' camp. I think Republicans are smart enough to sense that there is an opportunity for both to follow through on states' rights and libertarian principles and seize a win ahead of the midterms. So should be very interesting year for MJ, and especially this fall. Cobb explained that the SAFE Act will trigger FinCEN and Treasury to update their anti-money laundering guidance. He explained that one of the biggest problems with MJ banking, MJ and credit card processors is that they facilitate a transaction they're technically triggered into potential anti-money laundering guidance. And so lots of legalities and all that good stuff in trying to legalize this type of product, but we'll see how it goes and moving forward. So what would you suggest regular people can do to push legalization forward? The experts concurred that although writing and calling legislatures is not usually regarded as an impactful measure, he can move the curve on the hill. Chase explained that legislatures are not used to the MJ industry and that they need to see and interact with the MJ workers and patients to gauge the benefits of the federal legalization. Open the doors, let them see the work. Education is the key because it will destigmatize, legitimize, and normalize the industry. Chase emphasized the need to extend advocacy narrative beyond the recreational use of MJ and provide a holistic perspective of the industry for decision makers to thread the needle. So again, like I said on the last couple videos that I've done in regards to MJ videos that I've done, I feel 2022 is going to be a good year, a turnaround year for a lot of these, and so we'll just have to wait and see if they start running up between now and November, or wait until after November whenever the voting and everything is done. So, but there was 3 other videos that I did last week. I'll go ahead and link those in the description as well, so you can watch those, and it just talks about other states becoming legalized, so kind of interesting. And if there's any other MJ stocks out there you want me to take a look at, I'd be happy to do that. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing, and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.